So, who is thinking about their lunch they just had? Their lunch you just had? Okay, good. Who's thinking about what we've done so far? Who's thinking about what we're going to do? Okay, good. Now I need your help. I don't want you up here. I want you in here. So, I'm asking my beautiful wife to sing one of her songs. And as she does, close your eyes or leave them open. Start asking this to go to the back for a while, take a seat, and get into here. Because I would love you to hear anything I have to say from this spot. Because that's where I'm going to talk from. And some things I think I'll share that I haven't for a long time, some things I never have. So if I get emotional, I'm going to allow myself to be vulnerable. So thank you, listen to Sue, and then I'll step back.
There's something about these songs that I think have helped me and also help others to get into that heart space and become who they really are meant to be. So I hope you enjoy it. It's just a short one. Be at one with the Spirit as you walk here on this earth. Know that love that surrounds you was there for you at your birth. Every day is a blessing. Take a journey as you walk. Take the time that is needed to be one with who you are. Mother Earth really needs us to behold and honor her, for she needs that love around her to be fruitful and give birth. So be loving to yourself, so that love can shine throughout. Be all that you can be will bring that love to all around.
Thank you. Whew. Okay, so just breathe into that heart space. Feel that heart space. Good. Everyone who has spoken so far, I just want to give them thanks because I listen to each one and each time I hear, I'm going, wow, that's tapping into something I was going to say. And several people have said, oh, things have been repeated. It's true. It's time for that. And as my teachers used to tell me, repetition is affirmation. The more you hear it, the more validity it has. And so if I say some things you've already heard, but in a different way, that's cool. Take it to your heart. See what that means to you. If I say some things you haven't heard, that's okay too. See where it tags in. And let's just go on this journey together. I want to, since you're walking in though, as several have, thank Chief for all he's done. His work is incredible. There is no family without him. It's his energy that called us together. And that's really powerful. And I may mention a little more later, but he spoke, I guess it was yesterday, about the wolf and the whale. And I was over here on the drum and I went, wow. When I first met Chief, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was at Bear Clouds. And Sue and I were part of Bear Clouds Lodge. And he told me that this elder was coming for lodge. I didn't know it was Chief at that point. But when the Chief showed up, he called me to the side because he found out I was wolf. And he spent over an hour telling me that story of the wolf and the whale. And I've shared it with others. That is powerful medicine. But the fact that he talked about it yesterday for me was like, okay, there's another circle that comes around. So whatever your totems are, sit with those. But remember, you've got a lot of totems. You've got a lot of guides. A new friend of mine, Forest Speaker, who's Maori, Forest Speaker likes to say, you are all masters. I can't teach you anything. But what I can do is tell you some stories and you'll remember. And I love that. He's also all about the water. And we've heard a lot about water. Water, air, land, all of them we now have to cleanse. And we're doing it with our light. So to get started, how many of you are of the red nations? Okay. How many of you are of the red nations? That's you, Chief. Okay. How many are of the white nations? Okay. Yellow nations? Okay. Black nations? Okay. How many are women? How many are men? How many are light beings who are here now to come together to help this thing move into the next? Oh, okay, hold them up, look around. What's really important? What's really, really important? This is all that's important. It doesn't matter what paint's on you. It doesn't matter what gender's on you. And you've seen some of it here this weekend, as Rod, who's part of our circle, was saying, this is a different gathering than in the past. We've come together, it's a different energy. We're doing things we couldn't have done before. And so when Chief asked us to bring the healing drum, hoop of many colors, and it's been at powwows, it's been at healing events, it's been Stonehenge, it's been all over the place. We did, but you'll notice we've mixed it up a little. Maybe that challenges some people in here, that's okay. There's women on the drum, there's children on the drum. Why does it have to be all men? Why do the women's, oh, why do the women's things have to be all women? It's time to come together. You know, the prophecy is this time around, if we're going to really create that earth, men and women, harmony, equality, working together. If not, it doesn't happen. So thank you all for accepting that and allowing that energy to flow. It's really important. I use it for myself because there was a time that when I did things, I led them. Yeah, it was my job, so I just led them. Now you'll kind of notice I don't need to do that because it's all about circle. So many times on the drums, I've handed off my stick or I've sat back. I don't have to lead that. When I pour a sweat lodge, as I've been trained, I'll sing some songs and then I'll ask others to sing songs. It's time to really honor the customs and keep them sacred, but also to combine them. Once again, the prophecy, the four colors coming together, right? Do you know that? White, black, red, yellow represents the four colors of people. As someone said, you mix them, you get brown. I'm of the olive skin nation, so you have to mix different colors to get olive skin. So it's also time to share these ways back again, as we were told it would be. And you know, I remember Black Elk, who's been an incredible spirit teacher of mine. If you read my books, he shows up a lot. But Black Elk's big disappointment at the end of his life, do you know what it was? Anyone? It's because he thought he was a failure, because his prophecies had not completely played out yet. Wow. I'm sure up there now he smiles and looks down and sees his prophecies playing out. We all have to remember, no destinations, people, that's ego. Journey, it's who we walk with, it's family, it's what we're here to do. It's all those things. And that is what's happening now. And so you heard about Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother. That's actually something that came to me in my first vision quest many years ago. I've been walking this road, well, I've earned the gray hair. But the basis for the Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother came to me then. And then it disappeared for a lot of years. It wasn't time. I guess about 6 years ago, is that right? We were living in Sedona, and suddenly I sat down and okay, I can start my first book now. I tried for years, and every time I did, I would get physically ill. I'd throw up, I'd have headaches, I couldn't write it. But suddenly I sat down, and I think in 3 months I wrote it, because I didn't write it. I was hollow bone. How many of you are healers? Right? And do you realize when we're healing, we're hollow bones? It ain't us. It's spirit. The more hollow bone we can be, the more effective we can be. And when we don't take credit, we're even more effective. So my first book flowed through. I didn't even know what I wrote until I was done. seriously. And then sitting with Bear Cloud, I'm like, wow, would you do the cover for me? So he's done both covers for my books. It's always about circle, not us, especially now. The old way, the triangle, it's not going to work. One, and then everybody below them, forget it. Small groups and everyone below them, no. Circles. We've got to learn, relearn how to live in circle. It's not always easy. It's really not. When I started out, I guess I stepped up seriously on the spiritual road 35 years ago, plus or minus. I try not to count. It's painful. No, not really. I don't care. Things even then were much different. I think I'll talk about that a little bit. I wanted teachers in the worst way. I really wanted some teachers. I had recently moved to Colorado. I was running an environmental center for the University of Colorado, and I was doing everything I could to find some teachers. Man, I wanted to learn some of these ways. I couldn't find anybody. So I said, you know, the heck with it. I'll do what I'm doing. I'll run this thing. And of course, the next week, some Native American folks who were representing Native American students came in and asked, will you do something for our students? Because they come to go to university, they last a semester or two, they go home. They just can't take being in the midst of a white society without their cultures, off the res, on and on and on. And of course, I said, yeah, what do you want to do? Anyway, we started a whole bunch of programs. It was out of there that then teachers came to me and said, you seem to want to know more. Can I invite you to? And I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm ready. But I didn't know if I was, because I kept thinking, I'm not worthy. I was in my late 30s, I guess by then. What's the late 30s white guy from back east who was born Catholic doing here, learning from the people? And they just shake their head and said, why are you worried about the paint that's on the outside? Why are you worried about any of that? Just come. And I had the fingers pointed. You know, I was a wannabe. I was this, that, and the other thing. And not just with my native friends, as I learned, but I'd ended up going to Central America, and some Mayan teachers found me, and Garifuna teachers found me. And I was kind of the odd guy out. That shifted quite a bit. We need to shift it even more. Anyone who wants to learn in a good way, anyone who's serious about it, needs to be able to have those teachers appear. My own grandmother's Gypsy. I didn't know it until the night of her death. We were at a wedding for a cousin of mine. She called me over and she said, okay, I'll share this. Jimmy boy. No, I went up to 35. I was still Jimmy boy to some of them. She said, sit down because we need to talk. And I said, okay, Grandma. Now I was like 21. Oh God, the old lady's gonna drive me nuts. So I smiled and sat down, and she told me, you know, before we came here, our people were gypsies, northern Italy, but we also went into Switzerland, and you know, we don't look at borders. And I was the medicine woman for 3 of the clans. I'm the one they called, especially when they needed deep healing. And so I worked amongst those 3 clans. Our people were killed, persecuted, like so many other nations. We've all been through that in our history. And so some of us came here. And once I came here, I never practiced my medicine again. She wouldn't tell me why. That was for her to hold. But she said, and it skipped a generation, you're going to be the next one to carry this. And again, I admit, I'm thinking, this is one crazy old woman. I love my grandmother, but she's losing it. And she said, I wish I had time to tell you more, but you will move where you need to. The people who need to teach you will show up, because I can't do any more. I'm leaving tonight. I'm done. 3 o'clock in the morning that night, she died in her sleep with a big smile. And so 15 years later, yeah, until then those teachers started finding me. So it's all about timing also. It's being ready, it's being open. It's not knowing exactly what's going to happen. Right now, everything is moving like at rocket speed. Chief mentioned that when he talked, and also when we were saying something. Things are moving so fast. Just let them come. Be in the light. We need to be together in the light. We will still get more attacks. Is anyone getting any strong attacks lately? People who are really stepping up? Yep, some of us. It's like the last effort of the dark, right? Don't allow it. Even if it hurts, and sometimes it's painful. For me, it's been some people very close to me, and I'm like, where in the hell did that come from? But just learning to walk away from it. Send them love and light, but walk away. Walk with the ones who are ready. And, you know, they'll all show up, some of the young ones now who are here. It's awesome. I'm so thrilled to have them drum with us because they're going to carry it. You know, we're older. We're going to step out. Some worked with before, like Nicole here. Suddenly she's back, and I'm seeing, oh boy, we got to do more together. It's the circle just working. The circle is everything. We're in circle. The drum is a circle. Communities used to be circles. The universe is circles. The planet is a circle. That is the way of the universe. If you can't work in circle, then you really need to look inside and see why. Because if you're going to move ahead with this, if you're serious about stepping up into your total energy, you're going to have to work in circles. And I'm loving this here this weekend. I really am. And the last time we drummed, we didn't have enough sticks. People showed up I didn't expect. That's cool. I just handed my stick. And it was just perfect because all I needed to do was connect to the energy and to Creator. It was wonderful. I loved it. It felt right. It didn't feel like I was giving anything up. I was getting something back. And so allow that energy to move into. New people who are starting out, if you want teachers, if you want guides, if you want to find your circle, stop looking. Open your heart. Open that heart. They will show up. I guarantee it. I've never seen it not work. It always works. It might not be tomorrow. Don't worry about time. You know, there is no time, right? You guys all aware of that? It's an illusion. Listen to the young, right? Time is an illusion. Past, present, and future, they're all one, and they're all here at the same time. We humans, especially because we work from here, we say past, present, and future like they're separate. We do ourselves a great disservice. We miss so many things. People who journey, people who have practiced shamanic healing, and I can talk about that a little bit. People who have done those things realize that they're all the same. So when they say they're going back to the past or moving ahead to the future, you don't have to go anywhere. It's right here. What you're doing is letting it come into you, and you can use whatever you need. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm going to do some workshops. There's one this afternoon. I think it's at 4. Sue will be doing them with me. And there's one tomorrow. I'm going to share a little more of my shamanic practices and the things I've learned. This is something I've avoided for 20 years. When I was taught a lot of this, I tried to say, no, I don't want it. And my primary teacher, John Tubers, who was Lakota, said, you will learn because you will need it. And I've used it a few times. Those of you who know me, the first time I used it, my previous wife died of cancer about 9 years ago. And so I was her caregiver while she was taking that final walk, which was a great honor, but also it's not an easy thing. So I had an elder on the West Coast who was Wayat, who asked me to work with this woman who was desperately in need of some spiritual help. I realized looking back, he did it for me as much as he did it for her. And so I sat with her, and here was a woman who had, about 4 months before that, she lost all 3 of her children in a horrific accident, a bus going to a ceremony. And then about 3 weeks after that, her husband left her. He couldn't take it. So she just wanted to go. She wanted to leave, but something was keeping her here. So working with her is the first time I actually used some of the shamanic practices I'd been taught. Nothing else would help. I mean, she was so out there. Now she lives up by the reservations in South Dakota. She works with 4 other grandmothers. They help people who are going through similar experiences. This is 12 years ago now, I guess, was the last time I physically sat with her. We connect periodically. So it's for things like that where I'll use it. However, now, shamanic medicine, which really, I mean, forget all the bouldery boo that you hear, oh, I'm a shaman. Oh, it's been so misused. It's knowing above and below, the universe, the mother. It's working with nature. All shamanic medicine is grounded in nature, all of it. And every culture I've worked with on this and has taught me, immediately we go to nature first. So those things are critical. And then it's knowing how to use it and welcome it in. That's what it is. So there's some ways you can do that. I'll share some in the workshops later. It's not something to be played with. It's something to use seriously, like all medicine, like everything we do. And so I was just thinking of that as we're talking, and I'm thinking of that woman again, whose name was Susan. I don't know, Sue seemed to stalk me. I don't get it. At least this one's a positive one. They've all been positive ones. Some have just been difficult. So medicine of that sort, yes. If you're going to learn things like that, to do it, you have to let go of everything. Forget about your ego. When I was taught, it's like, okay, Jim, everything you've learned, put it aside. Pretend like you know nothing, which wasn't that hard for me at that point, and come in as a blank slate. If you're in ego, you won't be able to do it. And some people I've started to work with have left. That's fine. You got to be ready for that. You got to say, okay, I'm clear, no ego, let it come in. Later, all the things you know will come in and join it. So it becomes a huge package you can use. But to learn things, truly learn nature, just takes an incredible amount of connection with nature. And boy, what a powerful teacher. What a powerful teacher. That and understanding you connect with the universe, creator, God, whatever, I don't care what labels are, and with the earth mother. Those are the big things. So as we go along, this medicine becomes more and more important because when I was taught, I thought it would be to work with people like Susan, who they just wanted to leave. They wanted out of here. Too much pain, too much sorrow, too much suffering. Now I realize as we're making this shift, the real healing, the real need of this is the circles. A lot of ancestral energy, a lot of ancestral pain, a lot of ancestral thoughts are coming through now. Some of you are nodding, I know you're feeling it, some of you are working with it. That's what this medicine is to work with now. In so doing, you also work on yourself. I mean, you all know that, right? When you work on the greater whole, when you work on the circle, you work on yourself. When we go into lodge or other ceremonies, do we ask for anything for ourselves? No, that's not the way. We ask for the healing of the sacred hoop, for the healing of the whole circle, everything, but we don't ask for ourselves. However, we get the healing. We're part of the circle, as long as we are. And I know I'm preaching to the choir with a lot of this, but it's really important to remember it. And I'm hearing this in bits and pieces from everybody who's spoken so far. I'm hearing also those who are saying, okay, it's time to step up. Things are coming now. Rod's back there smiling. He's like, he sees the tsunami that's welling up below us. Some of you do too. We need to let it come up. We need the fire. We need the phoenix. Things have to be burned to ash so we can start to rebuild. We need to let it surface. We're seeing it all around us. It's nothing to fear. It's time. Some of us who are older, we're here in the 60s. And I've heard a lot of people who are around in the 60s say, oh, wow, man, we failed. What happened? We started, and man, it just all fell apart. No, timing wasn't right. What started in the 60s in this walk, this lifetime, is about to finish now. The difference is, a lot of us have gone through a lot of things since then. We're here. This time when the young ones step up, we're here to back them up. We didn't have that in the 60s. We were the freaks. We were the nut jobs. We were the look at those long hair, blankety blank, 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 fill in the blanks. You all know what they were. This time there's a lot of us who will stand up. There's also a lot of hate surfacing now. That is awesome. The infection has to come to the surface so it can be healed. And that's in each one of you individually too. If things are coming up in you, let it come. It needs to. It's how you will heal it. You can't heal it until you release it. I know I'm getting mine. My sinuses are like a war zone. I'm not even sleeping because I'm such a sinusy mess. And others are getting other challenges. But it's also happening to society as a whole. Those things have got to surface. Do not, please do not get angry. Someone was saying yesterday, one of the grandmothers, I don't remember who, when we address these things, we cannot do it in anger. We cannot throw hate back at hate. As soon as we do, boy, that circle keeps spinning. Keep going forward in love. I got a new teacher in the last few months, Dr. Dream sitting here. He's a pro at this. He keeps going forward. He sends out his light. He sends out his love. He's doing amazing things with the work he does. He doesn't worry about, okay, I'm not going to hate anybody. I'm not going to get angry. Maybe he does a little bit, he's human, but he keeps moving forward. And I'm watching that and I'm going, he's right. He's really right. And it's easy to look at some of this, to hear some of those words. Wow. In the 60s, I threw bricks. Now I throw love. Which do you think's working? The bricks didn't work, right? Bricks didn't work. The only really effective agenda in the 60s was the African American movement. And why? Because they did peaceful. They stayed peaceful. The rest of them, and some in the women's movement as well. But too many of the others moved into that anger. I know, I was there. I was part of it. Those, God damn them, we'll get them. No, doesn't work. Just keeps it going. We don't want to do that anymore. This time in the prophecies, we are told this is the big choice. So each one of you is honored to be here, or should be. Everyone who's here now should be honored. And I don't like the should word. It's one of the horrible S words. But in this case, it works. The way I was told, so many people have lived here throughout time. So many people will live here in the future if we do this in a good way. The number who are here right now of that whole is infinitesimal. Everyone wanted to be here for this shift, for this earth that we will create in the light. So we are all blessed to be here. Even those who are carrying that hate, that horrible ancestral stuff that has to be brought up and purged, they're doing their work. Thank them. I mean, really, thank them. I listen to some of this and I just shake my head and I'm going, wow, how could they say that and how could other people believe it? And then I say, but thank you, because it needs to be done. It truly, truly needs to be done. And that's important work. That's not easy work to carry. To be hated by so many, it's not easy. But it is part of this process. And so as we go along here, take what we do here home. This is powerful this time. And I know there's a lot of people who are on the feed this time, and I say hello to those folks. Some of them are friends of mine. So Virginia up in Canada, and Brock up in Canada, and Charlie over in New England, and we have friends in California. They're tying into this. There's actually, I think, a lot more people tying in this time than actually came. And I put in a lot of work to get people to come because I know this is so important right now. But I started to realize all we can do is put it out there. Some who I thought would be here suddenly had 12 excuses for not being here. It's okay. They didn't need to be here right now. You all needed to be here. You may not even know why. That's okay. You will find out why as you go along. So, how's my time going? Help me out here, Tracy. I know, I'm a big mouth. Oh, okay, good. Because at the end of this, so I'll talk a few more minutes, but then I'd like to do is, let's see. Uh-oh, we don't have too many kids here this time. That's all right, we'll do it later. I wanted to have a kid's drum at the end. We're gonna do that later though. Some of the children have been drumming, thank you. But we'd like to have a drum with just the kids at some point. That's what this is for. Hello? The 7 generations. Some of us are going to be checking out. Not too soon, I still have work to do. But we'll be checking out sooner rather than later. But the little ones, they got to carry it. Some of you in between, it's critical for you to pass it down. So this thing just continues to build. And so every time I see the young ones at anything we do, I just get this huge smile. I try to get them involved. Sue's great at just, bringing the kids in. We'll be in an event and suddenly I step away because there's 12 kids around the drum. It's perfect. I don't have to be there. The other old ones don't have to be there. Then we step in and do our part when it's needed. Does anyone have questions? Anyone want me to? Debbie? Uh-oh. No, I'm kidding you. Go ahead. I'm just playing with you. I am part Hayoka, as Debbie knows.
I find it interesting that how we're talking about the feminine and masculine
Cup breaking.
combined, and also now considering bringing the women or I find
Yes.
that very interesting. Yeah, it's just like, okay, so we now knew what was coming. We've known what was coming and what's here.
Yep.
But does that knowledge just seem to really go to the people that really need it? And I understand that maybe Catholics or, any religion or organized religion
Yep.
have their beliefs, but it's more in the same line as the rest of what we're thinking and learning here. We need to do it together. There is no separation. Or should not be.
There can't be if we're going to do this in the way that the prophecies have talked. And I mean, that's all of them. I heard this when my Lakota teachers taught me. I heard it from my Mayan family who adopted me down there. I've heard it from the Garifuna from Africa. I've heard it from the Aborigines. It's all the same. We've got to come together. And yes, I think there's some in each of those organizations. Now, I left Catholicism, God, in my teens, because I saw some things that I couldn't walk there. And that's all, it's all fear-based and ego and greed, right? I think it's shifting. I mean, even look, yep, right.
It seems that he's really bringing in some energy that is
Yep.
helpful.
And I'm sure some of his people are saying, what the hell have we done? How did we bring this guy in? Right? And that's any of us who are making some of these changes. And, I kid around, but yes, I have Hayoka medicine. Sue will tell you big time. And I was laughing when he was talking earlier today, he's part Hayoka. Because I do that. I'm driving along, people are going the other way, and I'm waving, and Sue going, what the hell are you doing? Or I'll start going, hiya, 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 hiya. It's just keep a little bit of energy going. It's stupid. That's okay. We can be stupid. It's fine, right? Stupid is good. So yes, I think in each organization, and I watch this Pope too, and believe me, as far as doctrine go, still don't agree with Catholics much at all. Go, okay, he sees something, he's getting it. I watch politics, which really has already collapsed. They just haven't admitted it yet. I forget who talked about that. Was that you, Chief? Somebody talked about the way things are collapsing. That's good. Let them collapse. I'm not going to get all fired up. They want us to argue back and forth. They want us to hate Trump or hate Hillary. Hello, Bernie, where'd you go, buddy? He could do some change. I worked hard for Obama. I really worked hard because I expected huge change. And he's done some beautiful things. And I recognize that, but he's also part of the establishment. Therefore, there's a lot he can't do. Neither could Hillary. And I don't dislike Hillary. I don't agree with her a lot, but that's okay. We need to get outside of all those systems in everything. Politics, education, spirituality. We're no different, folks, just because we're spiritual. Isn't it nice to say, I'm spiritual? Well, if you don't walk your walk, what good's it do you? It's critical we walk our walk. It's critical that I look and I don't see a woman. I see someone in my family, and the families are forming. I know she's a woman. I'm not saying I'm dumb or blind, but I have to stop judging, stop labeling. You know, I hate the labels too. I know we need them a little bit so we understand what we're doing. My label is human being. That's all I do. Somebody wants to know what I do, I say, well, here's what, you know, my peers have said. You can accept that or not. Some of them are good and some of them are painful, but that's okay. So yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. That's an excellent point. Anything else we need to put into this circle? I'm letting the energy grow here because you guys are awesome. Yeah. Smart aleck. Okay, so, and again, the wolf has been coming up a lot, as has the eagle. The wolf is really important right now because the wolf does pull together communities. So I was first given the name Red Wolf by my Lakota family when I went up and did my first vision quest. Then they named me Red Wolf. That was my gift when I was adopted by John Two Bears. And I'm going, huh? Red Wolf? My hair was pitch black. There's nothing red about me at all. I realize now Wolf has walked with me not only this whole life, but many, many lives. And then sometime down the road, I was changed to Graywolf because I got over my own pains, my own dark time of the soul. The Red Wolf is the most endangered of all the wolves. And they told me, you're not endangered. The other wolf. And if you walk with wolf energy, that's what you're doing. How many wolves in here? Look at that. Oh! Come on. All you non-wolves, let's hear it. Oh! Good. You are all official wolves in the heart. You will run with us now. And when I met Sue after my previous wife had passed away, Sue was a wolf. Right? No coincidences. She worked in the pens with a den of wolves for 12 years, 10 years, whatever. Time doesn't matter. A lot of years. And so we came together as wolves. Because my job, I was always told, is to do what I'm doing, to help bring together the four colors. I would get to people that some of my teachers never would. Down in the jungles of Belize, my primary Mayan teacher, he was never going to talk to you all. He gifted me what he wanted to bring it. And I've tried my best to honor that. Sometimes I've done pretty well, other times I've screwed up. It's okay, we're human. Let it go, correct it, change it, move on. Good one. Are we done? Cool beans. Again, I just want to thank the young ones who have been showing up. Keep showing up. Thank you, brother.